Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. Mark Twain. Hello, my name is Sean and welcome to Stoic Mind, Noble Heart. Let me ask you, is it better to remain silent and let people wonder what is on your mind, or to make sure your voice is heard no matter what? Stick around and I will let you know the secret power most introverts instinctively know. Have you ever said something that you've totally regretted and you think, why did I say that out loud? All around us, it seems that everyone is trying to talk louder and faster than every other person. As if the louder you speak, the more correct you are. And if you don't speak up with an immediate rebuttal, your opinion or your account on any given situation has been disproven and no longer valid. So, the only answer is to respond louder and longer than any other person. Or is this the answer? True confidence is silent, but insecurities are always so loud. Insecurities kill all that is beautiful by insisting loudly that they are right and they are more important. The strong silent type have always known it is not their physicality that gives them strength, but it is their power of silence. They know when to keep their mouth shut and only say as much as needed to make their point. Silence has the magic to control anger. It has the magic to make you more charming and to make you a better conversationalist. Stick around and I will explain. Let me start with anger. If I can get the point across before people click off this video, and I can potentially help even just one person realize that the only thing that getting angry does is make you look like an asshole. If I do this alone, I have achieved something. Anger is so often the reason people will say something that they don't mean. This is because anger is literally temporary insanity. If you can hold your tongue long enough to keep calm and let the insanity pass, you will never regret it. I read a post not too long ago. It was an older man pulling into a parking spot, and he didn't realize that he'd cut off another car. He rolled down his window to apologize to the other driver that he just cut off. The other driver screamed out his window at the old man, telling him to get fucked, followed by a bunch of other rude comments, and then he peeled away. Somewhat appalled, the old man shook his head and carried on with his day. The older man was then later redeemed as the guy who had screamed at him in the parking lot walked into his office for a job interview. Just imagine if the guy who he had cut off accidentally had just kept his mouth shut, how much instant credibility he could have built up with his future employer. Better yet, if he had just shut his mouth and responded with some gratuitous wave saying, "It's okay, no problem," he would have looked like Gandhi. However, karma isn't always so dependable, but you never know how the events will unfold. Being quiet and polite has never betrayed anybody. You need to be able to reliably keep your cool under hostile situations. It is as if somebody who angers you has conquered you. Every second you spend reacting to that anger, you lose yourself more. When things get heated, silence will not only give you time to stop and think, and stop you from making irreversible mistakes. How others choose to live their life is their choice. And remember, how you choose to live your life is your choice. Do not give that power to the other person. Letting them make you angry or sad gives them control over you. It is your choice how you react, not theirs. Here is a fun tip for the younger males listening to this. Never in the history of courtship has being loud and obnoxious ever gained positive attention from the opposite sex. And, for sure, it has never made you look as cool as you're trying to look with your blown out hair and your white sunglasses on the back of your head. The only reason it ever seems to have worked is because the women you are trying to charm with your orangutan noises have ulterior motives. So how do you become charming? The key is to make others feel more important. You do that by showing genuine interest in them. Only way to do this is by shutting your mouth and listening to what they're saying. Have you ever heard the saying, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that you can listen twice as much as you talk? I have found this to be a very effective way of communicating. If you want to impress somebody, just ask them about themselves. Do this and actually listen. I have been told on many occasions that I am great to talk to, when in fact, I don't really talk that much. What I do is I facilitate the conversation by letting people talk about themselves or explain what they are interested or excited about. or just whatever's on their minds. The trick is to keep your mouth shut until the conversation requires a response. Interrupting a person is incredibly rude. Seems like something everybody should understand, but in the heat of a discussion, some people just need to add their point real quick before they forget. Resist the urge to one-up everybody with a story. We all know that person who has to add their 2 cents on every topic of conversation and will do so by interrupting if necessary. Sometimes adding a relatable story into conversation is key to connecting with that other person. If the story is truly relatable, ask yourself, am I repeating the same story in my own version? Or have I already added a story once or twice? Maybe it's somebody else's turn? And most of all, does your story relate, or are you just trying to shoehorn in your story to brag? It's okay just to let your story go. If you're being talked to death, it is likely your story probably would have just got cut off halfway through anyways. However, there's a fine line between being quiet and aloof and just being a bore. The reason you are being silent is so that you can take in everything that is being said and genuinely absorb it. And then later, you can further ingratiate yourself. When there's a lull in the conversation, you actually have a question relating to what they were talking about. This means that you are engaged and not just waiting for your turn to speak. Here are some tips to practice and be aware of in any conversation. First off is to make eye contact, but remember, it's not a staring contest. Too much eye contact is actually worse than none at all. A good rule is 3 to 6 seconds of eye contact and take a break. Look away, shift your eye contact to somebody else in the conversation. Whatever you do, just don't look at the watch or the door. This is an indicator that you need to go or that you are bored. Be aware of your body language. Arms crossed or hands in your pockets give the impression that you are closed off or hiding something. If you feel awkward, ask yourself, how am I trying to be perceived? Then ask, why am I trying to be perceived this way? 99% chance you are trying to affect other person's opinion of you. You are being awkward because you don't know what they think of you and you want to act how you think they want you to act. This is a bunch of confusing nonsense. You need to just let it go. Have confidence in who you are and just be yourself. Not caring what they think will boost your confidence and make things a lot less awkward. Give short and sweet answers, and this will keep you from rambling. If the person needs more info, they will just ask you to elaborate. When somebody says something rude or disagreeable, don't react. Wait. This is when to use the power of silence. This gives you time to reflect. Did they just say what you think they said? Observe their face. Look at their body language. Do they look like they're trying to provoke you? Maybe they just misspoke. The longer the silence, the more awkward it will get, and the more their face and body language will start to betray them and give you cues to what their true intentions are. If the situation starts to become hostile, always say less than necessary. At this point, do not turn and run, but start to disengage from the conversations. Make excuses to leave. At this point, productive negotiations have been lost, and they are now venting emotionally, and any kind of reasoning will not be listened to. Or maybe they're trying to intimidate you or bully you. In any sense, the conversation needs to be disengaged. Stay calm, walk away. Better to leave the situation than get sucked into an emotionally charged argument that will likely set you back or at the very least waste your time. Remember, when you have nothing to say, say nothing. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button and let me know. I would love to hear thoughts and ideas in the comments below. Speak only if it improves upon the silence. Muhammad Gandhi.